Okay, let's talk about stress. Who experiences stress sometimes? Okay. And who causes other people stress? And who would actually like more stress in their life? No, not you. Nobody? I get it. I've worked with all kinds of organizations, from PepsiCo to ASML to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And no matter the industry, they've all asked me the same question. Susan, can you help me get rid of stress? But honestly, that's a terrible question. Because it assumes that stress is the big problem, but it's not. That's why I started the School of Stress, a business school that offers a different, more balanced perspective on stress. And since I've started that mission, I've guided countless companies on their stress management challenges. I served on the board of the International Stress Management Association. I've written 2 books. I created events like the Stressfestival, the Dutch Championship of Stress, and I also share my expertise as a member of the advisory board of De-Stress, a major Dutch research project on stress in workplaces, all with one simple goal: to change the way we look at stress. So today I'm here to challenge everything you think you know about stress and give you the 3 essential pillars for truly powerful stress management. Let's start with the first one. First, you need to create a positive stress mindset. Because at its core, stress is highly functional. It mobilizes energy for you in case of an emergency, so you can fight or flee. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Stress also helps you to get out of bed in the morning. It fuels your focus during a big presentation, it supports you to meet a deadline, and it even helps you to win someone's heart. Stress is so much more than the fight or flight story we've been told. It's basically one big energy regulator, and it gives us these nice shots of energy when needed. So let's face it, most of us don't want less stress. We want more, because stress means fuel for action. And without stress, none of us would ever achieve anything worthwhile. But here's what's critical to understand. Stress doesn't create this energy from out of nowhere. No, it redirects it. It pulls away energy from systems like your digestion, cell repair, and eventually even your immune system. And it reroutes it to your heart, your lungs, your muscles, and your prefrontal cortex. Basically, it powers up all the systems needed for action. So thank you, stress. Stress is freaking amazing, right? And it would actually do us some good to have a more stress is amazing mindset. It was a conclusion done on a study on stress and mindset. They found that the more positively we view stress, the better it works for us. So, helping you get rid of stress? Terrible question. You get nothing done and probably be the worst employee in the building. Here's the better question. How do I take better care of my stress system? And the power of this question lies in 2 elements. First, it promotes a more positive stress mindset. And secondly, it immediately shifts us from fighting stress to working with it. So let me share with you how this question plays out in the real world of stress management. A few years ago, I was called by this hotshot manager of this very big international company. And she said, Susan, we have a problem. People are complaining about stress and high work pressure, and they're calling in sick, and when they do, they stay away for months. So can you help us get rid of stress? So what did we do? We did quite the opposite. First, we flipped the script on stress, and then we showed them how they could use stress more into their advantage. And the results were stunning. Work pressure dropped within a year dramatically, and also the amount of people that were calling in sick. But more importantly, people were showing up at work with more energy, more engagement, and more fun. If only it were this simple, right? Of course, this is not the whole story. Yes, you need a stress is amazing mindset, but it's not enough on its own. And that brings me to my second most important pillar of this talk, because we also had to make sure that recovery became an important part of people's performance. Because yes, stress is great, but here's the catch. We can only benefit from stress if we balance and support it with enough recovery. Stress is not an all-you-can-eat buffet. After you use it, you need to replenish it. It's crucial that your body restores the energy from the systems that are now operating on low energy so your body can function at full capacity again. And if you consistently skip this part, well, then your body starts to push back. You get sick more often. Why do you think that is? Because your immune system is constantly running on low power. Your brain starts to get foggy, your patience wears thin, sleep becomes harder, and according to German scientists, your IQ can drop over time by as much as 13%. And the list goes on and on. So you see, this is why recovery is key in great stress management. And it sounds so simple, right? Just relax a bit more. But this is where most of us fail. Because we do not feel like resting, we do not have the time, and for some it's because the task isn't done, or you're afraid you're not adding value anymore, or you start to feel things you rather not feel. The irony is that rest can feel pretty restless. And then, of course, there's the digital revolution. It's basically hijacked every natural resting moment and stuffing it with quick replies, endless scrolling, so bye-bye recovery. And then there are those among us who think that they are Superman or Superwoman. Maybe you know them. That we're somehow above the law of physics and the rule of recovery don't apply to us. Until we crash. And when that happens, who do we blame? Stress. But stress wasn't the big problem here. You lost the balance. You didn't recover enough. That's the real problem. Now, let me take you on a little field trip to break this down for you a bit more in a work environment. When I visit companies, this is the first question I'll be asking. Which competences are highly valued here? And the answer is always something like hard work, resilience, flexibility, but you never hear the ability to recover. Now, let me explain to you why this worries me, and I will use a very simple metaphor that makes it easier to explain. If I ask you to hold a bottle of water, no problem, right? Hold it for an hour, and all of a sudden it starts to feel heavier the longer you hold it. Why? The bottle didn't change, it has the same weight. It's because you got tired. And when we get tired, things start to feel heavier. And as a result of that, our productivity drops. Tasks take longer to complete. It becomes harder to connect and process information. You're more likely to make mistakes, and the quality of your work drops, etc., etc. And at the School of Stress, we have a name for this. We call this hidden underperformance. The engine keeps running, but it's losing power. And when it's losing power, your performances fade. It's as simple as that. So what can we do? And believe me when I say that this is probably going to be one of the best pieces of advice you will ever get in your life. Are you ready for this? Give yourself permission to put the bottle down, just for a moment. Have a walk to the coffee machine, to the bar, take a look outside the window, or take a deep breath in and out. And have a look at the people around you. Maybe you smile at them, or not. Release some tension in your shoulder and just relax for a little while. Feels pretty good, isn't it? Does it feel good? I'm a really big fan of these micro breaks because they're so easy to fit into your daily routine and they have such a high impact, not only on your performance, but also on your well-being. Recovery isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. So my advice to companies is to make sure that recovery is a part of your performance strategy. Stop rewarding only the hardworking people and start rewarding the smart ones, the ones who blend in hard work with enough recovery. Those are the ones with the highest output. Those are the ones you want to keep close. And there's some amazing science to back this up. For example, a Harvard study done on surgeons. They found that the surgeons who took 5-minute break every hour during long surgery made fewer mistakes and finished just as fast as the ones who worked non-stop. And basically every company that is taking a closer look at the high-performing people will find that they all have one thing in common: the ability to recover. That's why we teach recovery as a performance skill. And I'm not saying do nothing all day long. That wouldn't make you a good employer either. I'm simply saying take a 5-minute break every hour and a longer break in the middle of your day. And this idea isn't new. It was Stephen Covey who said it in 1989, when he said, "Never be too busy to take the time to sharpen the saw." Now, maybe at this point of my talk, you think, it's all about keeping the balance. Stress is great as long as I balance it with enough recovery. But this is really hard to do on your own. That's why we need a third pillar. You also have to build a shared strategy on stress and recovery. Because I can teach you the best stress habits of the world, but they won't survive in a culture that glorifies overwork and punishes rest. This is what you need to understand. Stress, its number one job is to keep you safe. And for humans, the safest place to be is within the group. That's why feeling valued is so important to us. Now, one of the key strategies to stay in the group is to copy each other's behavior. And this happens automatically thanks to a thing called mirror neurons. They're like tiny little copy machines in our brain, and they are designed for your survival. If one animal in the herd spots danger, the entire herd becomes more alert. And these mirror neurons are pretty powerful stuff. Want to experience it yourself? Let's do a really quick 10-second exercise. Please stand up, form pairs of 2, and decide who's number 1 and who's number 2. Numbers 1, where are you? Numbers 1, your task is to look the other person straight into their eyes and keep your face as neutral as you possibly can, right? Numbers 2, where are you? Numbers 2, your task is to look the other person back into their eyes, but give them the most lovable, sweetest smile you've got. Yes? And we're only going to do this for 10 seconds. On your marks, ready, set, go. Okay, you can all sit down again. Yes. So numbers 1, where are you? How hard was it to keep your face neutral for just 10 seconds? It was hard, wasn't it? In fact, it was almost impossible. It was impossible for most of you. And that's exactly what I wanted to show you. Yes, behavior starts with you, but it's very much influenced by the people around us. So, if the people around us don't prioritize a healthy stress balance, chances are really low that they're going to be on your priority list. And that's why I think that we shouldn't individualize stress management. Yes, it's an individual problem, but it's also a very collective one. And if you get this principle, amazing things can happen to you. I saw it firsthand with a friend of mine, Frank. He has this really lovely medium-sized company, and his team was under heavy stress the whole time. So he brought me in to give one of my master classes, and he had this amazing introduction. And then something interesting happened. He said, "Have lots of fun with Suzan's masterclass," and walked away, thinking it was their problem. So, after the class, this is a true story, after the class I went up to him and showed him that his behavior had an impact on the entire team's stress balance, that he was part of the problem. And somehow something clicked. And together with his team, we built this high-performance culture where everybody is taking responsibility of maintaining a healthy stress balance. And they're now performing in a world-class level, all thanks to a shared strategy on stress and recovery. So if you want to work on stress management, do it as a team. Now, let me wrap things up for you really quickly. I gave you my 3 pillars of truly amazing stress management. You remember them? Create a positive stress mindset, make sure recovery is part of your performance, and build a shared strategy on stress and recovery. Stop asking, how do I get rid of stress? And start asking, How do I take better care of my stress system? From now on, allow yourself to recharge, not by scrolling to escape, but by reconnecting with yourself, with nature, and with each other. Because when we start to value the power of true recovery, I promise you this: don't be surprised if you end up loving stress as much as I do. Thank you so much.